Packers week is here. The Chicago Bears face off against the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers at Soldier Field this Sunday. Can they pull out a win for the first time against this team since 2018? Watch this video to find out. What's up, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. So if you guys want my thoughts on what's going to happen before each Bears game this year, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. It is Packers week officially, and yes, it doesn't mean as much this year because obviously both of our teams are horrible. Usually it's only the Bears that are horrible, but this year the Packers also are a horrible football team. They only have one more win than we do, okay? And we are the second worst team in the NFL. So both the teams are kind of, I don't want to say the Packers are rebuilding because they actually went all in for this year, okay? They were labeled Super Bowl contenders by the media, by the Packers fan base, but unfortunately for them, they have fallen flat on their faces and only have one more win than the rebuilding Chicago Bears. So definitely not a good season for the Green Bay faithful. Also not a good season, obviously, for our Chicago Bears, but we kind of expected that going into this year. Now, even though it is a rebuilding season, okay, and even though we have the second worst record right now in the NFL, okay, so we're headed towards the number 2 overall pick in the following draft. I know a lot of Bears fans, maybe not a lot, but like some Bears fans do kind of want to lose this game against the Packers because it would probably be better for a draft position this upcoming year, and you know, maybe for the long term, okay, it could help us get a better player. But guys, I do not subscribe to that type of thinking against the Green Bay Packers, okay? If it was any other team, I can hear you out, but come on, guys, okay? It's the Green Bay Packers, okay? We haven't beat this team since 2018, and getting a win against this team, against Aaron Rodgers, with Justin Fields starting, okay? Justin Fields actually is going to be back for this game starting officially. I would take a win any day of the week, okay? I would be really happy if the Chicago Bears won this game, and I'll be rooting for the Bears to win this game, you know, even though our draft position might suffer slightly because of it. Now, you know, obviously, you guys can think whatever you want. If you're rooting for a loss, I'm not going to hold that against you. But, guys, rivalry week, man, this is also for the all-time record, okay, for wins, okay? Whoever wins this game is going to have the all-time record in wins. You know, I would like for the Bears to win this game. But if they lose, obviously, I'm not going to be as mad as I usually am because I will take solace, I will take comfort in our draft position being pretty high. But talking about this game, guys, talking about this Packers team, let me briefly talk about the Packers offense, give you guys some stats about their offense, first of all. And they rank number 23 in points scored per game, number 16 in yards gained per game, number 14 passing offense, number 14 rushing offense as well. And basically, the one thing I want to talk about here is Christian Watson, the rookie from North Dakota State, has been exploding in the last month, okay, much to the admiration of Packers fans. Okay, Packers fans were kind of hating on this guy in the first month of the season because he had a ton of drops. He was also, you know, getting injured pretty frequently, but he's been showing his big time potential in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, he has 353 receiving yards on the year and 6 touchdowns too. Now, most of these stats came in the last a couple games that he's played. Okay, he had 3 touchdowns, I believe, against the Titans, which really jump-started his NFL career. He also had a really good game against the Eagles too, in which he took a Jordan Love slant, a pass, okay, on a slant. I think it was like 50 or 60 yards to the house because of how fast this guy is. And that's the thing, guys. This guy is very, very fast. So if you don't take the proper angle, if you don't have multiple guys around him, he's probably going to burn you for like a 50, 60-yard touchdown because that's how much of an athlete, that's how dynamic of an athlete Christian Watson actually is. And his hands have been improving a lot too over the last couple weeks. Okay, he actually struggled a lot with drops in the first couple games, but he's looking like a really good receiver right now. So that's one guy. Obviously, the Bears defense is going to have to game plan for him. Being down so many guys in the secondary right now, like we don't have Eddie Jackson, we don't have Jaquan Brisker, we don't have Kyler Gordon. That is going to be a really tough challenge for the Chicago Bears defense. The rest of the Packers offense has not been really anything special so far this year. I know that Allen Lazard is leading the team in receiving yards with like 500 something, but that's only due to like sheer volume because he kind of had to step up when there was nobody else there. Right now, it's really only Christian Watson that is, you know, exploding on this offense and doing really well week after week. But talking about Aaron Rodgers, the guy that has destroyed us time and time again during his NFL career, this guy has not been having as good of a year as he usually has. So it's definitely been a down year for Aaron Rodgers. His numbers are down pretty significantly from the last 2 years. He only has 2,682 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Okay, turning the ball over at a rate far higher than most years of his NFL career. Okay, he only had 9 interceptions in the last 2 years combined, okay, in his MVP seasons combined. So definitely not the same Aaron Rodgers that we are used to seeing, but I don't want to talk too much about his decline because against the Chicago Bears, he somehow always puts on a show because he loves to play against our team. Okay, he's talked about how he loves to play at Soldier Field because obviously he's had some of the best games of his career at Soldier Field with how much we suck against this guy. So even though Aaron Rodgers is probably not the same Aaron Rodgers, against the Chicago Bears, anything can happen. He can still return to being that MVP that he was the last 2 years. So that's the Packers offense. Talking about the Packers defense then, they rank number 22 in points allowed per game, number 16 in yards allowed per game, number 4 pass defense, number 31 rushing defense. And yeah, the big glaring stat here is that they have a terrible run defense. Okay, they allowed a bunch of rushing yards to the Philadelphia Eagles last weekend. I think they allowed over 300 rushing yards against that team. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, had 157 rushing yards. Okay, this guy almost broke Justin Fields' rushing record that he set against the Dolphins because of how bad the Packers run defense actually is. So not a good matchup whatsoever for the Packers run defense to now have to go up against Justin Fields, an even more faster, athletic, explosive version of Jalen Hurts on the ground. Okay, that's going to be a tough matchup for the Packers run defense and their defensive line. Okay, they really have been lacking in gap discipline in terms of, taking the right pursuit angles, in terms of being disciplined overall fundamentally. Like, that's an area where the Packers run defense, their defense in general, has been really bad. So the Bears, powerful run game, hopefully can take advantage of this and score a lot of points in this game. But Rashawn Gary could be a problem for the Bears offensive line, obviously, because he's been the Packers' best player probably on the defensive line. He has 6 sacks. He has 12 quarterback hits, a bunch of pressures too. So if the Bears, passing attack, if the offensive line does not have an answer for Rashawn Gary in terms of, helping whoever's going to be lined up against him, okay, maybe Braxton Jones, the rookie, could be lined up against him, that could be a problematic matchup for the Bears offense because Gary has been that good. Okay, in terms of rushing the passer, the Packers defense still has been pretty okay. Okay, it's the run defense where they truly do lack. But talking about the Bears offense now, they rank number 18 in points scored per game, number 23 in yards game per game, number 32 passing offense, number 1 rushing offense still. And obviously the return of Justin Fields is going to be massive for this offense because we saw how much this offense missed him last weekend against the New York Jets. Okay, even though that was a good defense, I don't want to say that, Fields would have exploded against that team, but he probably would have scored more than 10 points against the Jets defense because Justin Fields is the entire Bears offense. And the fact that he is able to run for a touchdown from anywhere on the football field, that really changes how opposing defenses have to play against us. Okay, it opens up more holds for the running game when Justin Fields is at quarterback because obviously they have to they have to guard against Justin Fields potentially keeping the football and running for a big 40, 50-yard gain. I'm not totally sure if he's going to be running as much as he usually does because he is coming off a pretty nasty left shoulder injury. But according to the Bears doctors, according to the Bears staff, Justin Fields is fully healthy now. He is 100% ready to go. So there won't be any limitations, according to my knowledge, in terms of him running with the football. But I would still like to see him stay in the pocket if he can and pass as much as he can because you don't want to risk things, okay? You don't want to take as many hits as you possibly can. You want to limit the amount of hits that your quarterback takes in this game. And Fields has shown the ability to be a pocket passer in college. We just do not have, I feel like, the personnel to really do that this year. So there are going to be runs in this game for Justin Fields to help us move the ball down the field. But I just hope we can limit the amount of runs that we do with him because I don't want to see him taking a whole bunch of hits. And if we do run with Justin Fields, hopefully we run him to the outside. I don't like the runs in between the tackles because I feel like that puts you at a higher, chance of being seriously injured. But running outside, you can still usually get out of bounds, usually slide a lot better than you can going inside. But ultimately, I'll try to trust the coaching staff. I'll try to trust Justin Fields to be smart and, be aware about the situation, okay, about trying to not take as many hits as he can. But at some point, obviously, he is going to probably go off for like a 50-yard touchdown because that's the type of athlete Justin Fields actually is. But talking about the rest of the Bears offense, obviously our wide receiver number 1, Darnell Mooney, is out for the year. Okay, that's a big, brutal blow for the Bears passing attack, which already sucked to begin with. Like, we had the worst passing attack in the league. Obviously, losing Darnell Mooney is not going to help that, I would think. He's been a solid dynamic weapon going down the field for our quarterbacks. He's been Fields' number 1 weapon to go to really during Justin Fields' career. So not a good, situation there, losing your number 1. But we do have Chase Claypool now stepping into the wide receiver number 1 role. And he has to really prove what he has with this opportunity because right now he's been basically a non-factor in the Bears offense. Not completely because last weekend he did have a pretty decent game. He had 51 receiving yards. He had that solid jumping grab going down the field. But we have to see more of those solid jumping grabs and more utilization in this offense to, justify spending a second round pick on this guy. Okay, right now it does look like an overpaid because we haven't really done much with Chase Claypool, but he only got here again, a month, I think a month and a half ago now. So still, learning the system, learning the playbook, but now it is time really to put up some numbers, and getting the chemistry going between Justin Fields and Chase Claypool is going to be big for next year too, because you don't want to waste too many games next year trying to get them both on the same page. You should do that this year, okay, while the games are somewhat meaningless, and it doesn't really matter if you win these games. So Chase Claypool, hopefully he steps up. Hopefully N'Keal Harry, Byron Pringle, the rest of the guys, Equanimeous St. Brown probably is going to have more opportunities too now with Darnell Mooney out. Hopefully somebody does step up and do a good enough job to make this passing offense somewhat functionable. Okay, it doesn't have to be a great passing offense because it's not going to be the rest of the year with how limited our personnel is, but we just cannot have a situation where Justin Fields only passes for 70 passing yards like we saw in the last game against the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau this year. But that's the Bears offense. Finally talking about the Bears defense then. They rank number 27 in points allowed per game, number 20 in yards allowed per game, number 12 passing defense, number 27 running defense. And injuries are really decimating the Chicago Bears defense because we've lost a lot of guys due to injury. We won't have Eddie Jackson, the best player on our entire defense. He's out for the year. We won't have Jaquan Brisker dealing with the concussion. We won't have Kyler Gordon either, also dealing with the concussion. Dane Cruikshank, I believe, is also not playing. He's not been a big factor anyways in this defense, but another guy that's not going to be out here. And the Bears defense already was pretty bad to begin with. So I don't have very high hopes, man, for the Bears defense going forward because we simply just do not have the talent on this defense to be a very successful, defense. Okay, the injuries are really bad. So somebody has to step up. Some young guys going to have to step up for the Bears defense to even be below average the rest of the year, because right now they're probably the worst defense in the NFL. But let me get to my 3 keys to Bears victory. How can the Chicago Bears somehow win this game against the Green Bay Packers? And key number 1 is going to be to have no wasted red zone trips in this game. Every time you're in the red zone, you're going to have to score a touchdown because the Bears cannot afford to lose the arms race against the Packers. Okay, it's going to be a shootout probably. I don't see the Bears defense stopping Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense that often. So you're probably going to have to score 30 plus points, maybe 35 plus points to win this game. And to do that, you cannot waste any red zone trips. Okay, no penalties, no mistakes, no drops. Okay, you have to be perfect in the red zone. Key number 2 is going to be to hit Aaron Rodgers early and often. Now, this is probably not going to happen. It's probably delusional to think the Bears pass rush can even get to Aaron Rodgers at this point with how bad they have been the entire year. But if they want to have any chance at stopping this guy in the Packers offense, they're going to have to hit Rodgers early and often and get him rattled early on, because that's the only way you can stop a quarterback like Rodgers. Okay, get pressure in his face and hit him as hard as you possibly can. Now, again, I'm not sure the Bears pass rush is capable of doing that, but if anybody does step up, Travis Gibson, Justin Jones, Al-Quadin Muhammad, Dominic Robinson, the rookie, if somebody decides to finally step up and get some type of pressure on the quarterback, okay, be a better pass rusher, then yeah, maybe we can stop this Packers offense, because that's the one area where Aaron Rodgers has struggled this year, throwing under pressure. He's not been as good as he usually has been during his NFL career. And then finally, key number 3 is going to be to play with pride in this game. A year and a half ago, Aaron Rodgers in the same stadium told all the fans at Soldier Field, "I own you." Okay, we all remember that. We all hated it. And if the Bears players have any pride, okay, they're going to play as hard as they possibly can to reverse the final score, okay, and somehow pull off an upset against this guy that has owned us over the past decade plus, okay? I really hope that the Bears players do understand that even though our season is over, even though we're not going to make the playoffs this year, getting a win against Green Bay is a pride thing for a lot of us, okay? We have not beaten this team very often in my entire lifetime. It would be so nice to get a win against this team, even though it's a rebuilding year, even though it would ruin our draft position a little bit. Us Bears fans would be really happy to see that. So play with pride, man. I mean, this is Green Bay. You're supposed to be playing at your best against this team, and usually we don't do that. Hopefully we can in this game. Let me get to my score prediction now. Who do I have win this matchup? And guys, I hate to do it, but I gotta pick the Chicago Bears to lose this game against the Packers by a score of 35-27, because I just simply do not have faith in our defense, okay? Especially losing Eddie Jackson, losing Jaquan Brisker. We have no safeties. Who are our safeties right now? We have DeAndre Houston-Carson, who is a pretty good backup, but then we have Elijah Hicks starting at free safety, the 7th round draft pick, or maybe the guy that we signed earlier this week. I forgot what his name even is, okay? So we have just a lot of young players in the secondary. We have a lot of undrafted guys, too, on this defense right now. With how bad they have been, I cannot see them stopping Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Okay, so we're probably allowing at least 35, maybe 40, maybe 45 plus. And I do think the Bears offense is going to be pretty good in this game because, again, Packers run defense has been pretty bad. The Bears strength is their rushing offense. So we can probably put together at least 27 points in this game. Hopefully 30 plus would be nice, but I don't see us outdueling Aaron Rodgers at the end because we have not shown the ability to put together those game-winning drives to really get over the hump and, beat teams. But hopefully I am wrong, okay? I would be really happy if I'm wrong and we win this game. As for my offense MVP, Justin Fields, okay, the best player on this team. I'm going to give him 100 rushing yards, 120 passing yards, and maybe that's a little bit low. I'll do like 150 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. As for my defense MVP, I'm going to go with Travis Gibson. Okay, Travis Gibson's been having a pretty disappointing year so far, but he does have pretty good performances against the Green Bay Packers, historically speaking. So I'm going to give Travis Gibson 1 sack in this game to be our best defensive player. But let me know what you guys think about this game in the comments down below. Who do you guys think is going to win? Who do you guys think is going to be the offensive, defense MVP, and so forth? And I hope the Bears win, man. I really hope they prove me wrong and finally beat Aaron Rodgers. Maybe send Aaron Rodgers off with the loss. I'm not sure if he's going to retire this year or get traded. I'm not sure what the Packers are going to do with him, but this might be our last chance to beat Aaron Rodgers. Who really knows? But if it is, I really hope that Justin Fields can somehow do it and, jumpstart a turnaround to this rivalry, okay? Because the Packers have completely dominated, owned us over the past decade, really 2 decades plus, and it's about time we finally beat them. Go Team USA. I know we have a game tomorrow against the Netherlands in the World Cup in soccer, which I will be watching. I'm a big World Cup fan. I love watching soccer, mostly international soccer, not so much club soccer. But hopefully you guys watch that game too. Hopefully Team USA wins and our country advances to, I think it would be the quarterfinals after that. So that'll be pretty fun to watch. Hopefully the Bears win as well. And I'll be back with my post-game reaction on Sunday night. Hope you guys have a good weekend. As always, bear down.